Just as Groucho was the top banana of the Marx Brothers, the NFL starting quarterbacks also dominate center stage. Last week, however, the secret word was backup, as in backup quarterback. And you can bet your life that the understudies who were thrust into the spotlight wanted to make the most of a leading role. But the Giants' Scott Brunner began by performing antics worthy of a Marx Brothers misadventure. Brunner threw 4 first-half interceptions, and one of them resulted in a touchdown by Green Bay's Estes Hood, number 38. New York's problems were further compounded when Dave Jennings outpunted his coverage. Quick to capitalize on this was number 22, Mark Lee, who traveled 94 yards for a score. Lee's effort was the NFL's longest punt return of the season, and it gave the Packers a 20-0 first-quarter lead. But Brunner regained his composure and brought the Giants back with 3 touchdown passes. Brunner's full-time job as holder on placements allowed him to work some expert chicanery, as a fake field goal attempt was transformed into a touchdown toss to number 87, Gary Shirk. But Brunner's heroics were not enough to prevent a 26-24 Green Bay victory. Still, the Giants discovered that their second-year second banana has the potential to bring down the house. In Houston, the house lights went on without an injured Ken Stabler in his accustomed starring role. Against Oakland, John Reeves, who had overcome personal problems to earn a spot on the Oilers' 1981 roster, was given his first NFL starting assignment since 1978. Reeves completed 17 passes. Now 18 if you count a misguided sideline toss that allowed place kicker Tony Frisch to take a brief fling at becoming a breakaway threat. But Reeves was on target when he had to be, and he had to be with the Oilers trailing midway through the fourth quarter. A fourth down 25-yard touchdown pass to number 86 Mike Barber gave Houston a 17-16 win. It also gave the once down-and-out Reeves a large measure of self-respect. Another quarterback with a checkered history got a chance to start out in sunny Southern California. With former starter Pat Hayden now an observer, it was Dan Pastorini who stood ready to guide the Rams against New Orleans. Pastorini last started with the Raiders over a year ago, but he demonstrated that the long layoff has had little effect on his long ball prowess. Touchdown pass to Preston Denard, number 88, gave Los Angeles a 7-0 lead. But Pastorini's debut was soon overshadowed by the Saints substitute signal caller, rookie Dave Wilson. While Wilson displayed a strong arm, he was even more effective as a catalyst for running plays like this fake reverse, good for a 59-yard score by George Rogers, number 38. Saints rookie sensation rushed for 161 yards to become a member of the NFL's 1,000-yard club for 1981. Another rookie, Toussaint Tyler, number 42, contributed 76 yards in only 8 carries. The Saints' 307 yards of rushing offense was more than the Rams' entire offensive output. Three scores by Rogers powered a 21-13 victory that left hometown fans anxious to bid a less than fond farewell to the pesky Saints. New Orleans became the first team in 13 years to beat the Rams twice during the regular season, thanks to a kid named Rogers and a kid named Wilson. who directed his first victory as a starter and proved that the spotlight's glare can transform an understudy into a show-stopping top banana. The New England Patriots had not lost to the Miami Dolphins at home in 5 years. And for one half of play last Sunday, it appeared that second efforts from linebackers like Rod Schote, number 56, would stretch the streak to 6. Schote's defense held the Dolphins to 6 first-half points, while quarterback Steve Grogan's offense cut loose for 17. Stanley Morgan's 76-yard touchdown reception and Grogan's 4-yard leap staked the Patriots to an 11-point lead at intermission. But in the third period, a Miami comeback was ignited by another Dolphin no-name performer, Tom Vigorito, number 32, who carried the ball just once all day. Vigorito's final rushing figures: 1 carry, 30 yards, 1 touchdown. The Dolphins added several intangibles to their comeback, including an opportunistic touch and a pinch of luck. The flubbed flea flicker finally found Duriel Harris, number 82, providing the impetus to put the game into overtime. Uwe von Schaman answered the fifth period call, and his field goal won it 30-27 as the Dolphins remained leaders in the AFC East. In San Diego, the Chargers struggled to stay near the top of the AFC West. The loss of John Jefferson has not hurt them one lick, since Wes Chandler, number 89, is more than an adequate replacement. But Chandler couldn't do it all. The Chargers needed more than his 2 touchdowns and 194 receiving yards. They didn't get it. Beyond the San Diego front 4, there is a lack of defensive speed, and Bengal quarterback Ken Anderson attacked the soft spots. With Isaac Curtis, number 85, gaining 147 yards in the first half alone, Cincinnati capitalized on 3 Charger turnovers to build a 21-point lead. San Diego had the opportunity to cut the margin until quarterback Dan Fouts threw the costliest pass of the game. Louis Breeden's 102-yard interception return tied an NFL record and opened the floodgates for a 40-17 Cincinnati win. It was San Diego's worst loss at home since 1975. Joe Klecko, Ben Rudolph, Abdul Salam, and Mark Gastineau. Meet the executive officers of the New York Sack Exchange. These gentlemen pushed their stock higher on the national board against the Baltimore Colts and took over the NFL lead in sacks. While the Jet defense limited the Colts to 14 points, Jet quarterback Richard Todd got bullish in the wide-open spaces of the Baltimore secondary. His return, 6 points each from 3 different benefactors. Wide receiver Lam Jones cashed in his first touchdown pass of the season, and counterpart Wesley Walker, number 85, recorded his 8th. third quarter tally to Kevin Long helped deal Baltimore their 9th consecutive defeat. For the Jets, the 41-14 win upped their record to 5-4-1. The worst record in pro football belongs to the puzzling, luckless Colts, but it almost makes sense, since it's always been bad luck to hang a horseshoe upside down. It is said all fine teams need direction, and in 1981 there have been none more direct than the San Francisco 49ers. After 6 straight wins, the 49ers were a team zeroing in on a division crown and the Falcons. Freddie Solomon's touchdown reception put the 49ers into the lead as San Francisco was trying to avenge an earlier season loss to these same Falcons. Quarterback Joe Montana made sure that history did not repeat itself. A touchdown toss to number 86 Charlie Young helped to bolster a 17-7 fourth quarter lead. But 10 points is never a safe margin against the lethal Atlanta passing game. With 2 minutes remaining, number 85 Alfred Jackson narrowed the lead to 3 points, and when Atlanta recovered the following onside kick, the 49er winning streak seemed in jeopardy. But number 22 Dwight Hicks intercepted his second pass for the day and ensured a 17-14 San Francisco win. The victory gave the 8-2 49ers a 3-game lead in the NFC West, while it humbled Atlanta to a disappointing 5-5 record. Another team who has been disappointed this year has been the Cleveland Browns, a team whose season seems to be left up in the air. With the Browns facing possible playoff elimination against Denver, the defending AFC Central Division champs looked for and got big plays from tight end Ozzie Newsome. Yet Newsome's efforts were matched by the NFL's #1 passing combination, Bronco quarterback Craig Morton and number 81 Steve Watson. Watson's reception marked his 12th touchdown for the year and ensured a habit that has afforded him the luxury of choosing his end zone guests. Yet despite establishing several leads, the Broncos could not ward off Cleveland's persistent offense as plays like this Dave Logan touchdown and a last-minute Matt Barr field goal helped to tie the game at 20-all after regulation. But Cleveland's fabled flair for the dramatics fizzled in overtime, for on the period's second play, a Brian Sipe completion was knocked loose and recovered by safety Dennis Smith, number 49. Smith's fumble recovery paved the way for Fred Steinfort, who booted a game-winning 30-yard field goal. With a 23-20 victory, the 7-3 Broncos have won 6 straight at home and now have the undisputed lead in the AFC West. In Washington, neither the Redskins nor the Lions were teams aspiring to great heights in division races, as both teams were merely trying to find some self-control. Collectively, the Lions and the Redskins committed 9 turnovers, yet such an air-plagued game could not overshadow the individual performance made by number 25, Joe Washington. Washington ran for a career-high 144 yards and powered the Redskins to 2 touchdowns. Yet his best effort could not outshine Detroit running back Billy Sims, number 20. Sims played in his first full game since he suffered a painful toe injury and rushed for 159 yards. When the NFC's rushing touchdown leader got in close, Sims met the end zone unchallenged. The lead changed hands 4 different times during the fourth quarter, but when Mark Mosley connected on a field goal attempt with 43 seconds remaining, Washington went into the lead for good and won 33-31. After losing their first 5 games, the Redskins have finally played up to their potential and have put together a 3-game winning streak. With a 4-6 record, the Redskins don't have much claim in any sort of playoff race, but recent weeks have illustrated that the direction in Washington is definitely on the upswing. In Bloomington, Minnesota, Doug Williams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were overrun in their first-place showdown with the Vikings. This safety was typical of Minnesota's defensive dominance. The Vikings' offense, meanwhile, found more clever ways to score, such as sending tight end Joe Sensor in motion to screen off the Bucs' outside contain man, giving running back Ricky Young an easy touchdown catch. Said Tampa Bay coach John McKay, "This might be the worst game we ever played." And indeed, the numbers bear him out. Viking running back Ted Brown rolled up 129 yards rushing, 3 times more than the entire Tampa team, as Minnesota bounced the Bucs back to second place in the NFC Central Division. Final score, Vikings 25, Tampa Bay 10. It rained on quite a few NFL parades last Sunday. Out in Kansas City, Chief fans were just getting used to the idea of their club being in first place this late in the season. But a chilling November rain invaded Arrowhead Stadium, making it difficult for the Chiefs to maintain their grip. The Chicago Bears turned a host of Kansas City mistakes into 13 points. And it took this fourth quarter pass from Steve Fuller to Henry Marshall to even the score. Marshall's game-tying catch came on a 4th down with less than a minute to play in regulation time. But Chief fortunes soon took a downturn. In overtime, a Chief defender was penalized for jumping onto an opponent's back trying to block a field goal. Given a second chance, Bear kicker John Rivetto hammered home the game winner. Rivetto is fast becoming public enemy #1 among AFC Western Division clubs. Several weeks ago, he beat the San Diego Chargers with an overtime kick. Last week, he did in the Chiefs 16-13 in one of last Sunday's biggest upsets. The Pittsburgh Steelers were another team ripe for an upset. But unlike the Chiefs, the Steelers seem to have their opponents safely underfoot. Against Seattle, the Steelers rolled up an early lead, highlighted by number 16, backup quarterback Mark Malone, lining up at wide receiver and scoring on a 90-yard pass play. It's the kind of lead the old Steel Curtain would never have relinquished. But then this is not the old Steel Curtain. Dan Dorning's 44-yard scamper and 2 second-half Seattle touchdowns turned the game around. And with seconds left in the game, it was the Steelers who needed a clutch kick. Perhaps they should have drafted John Rivetto. Imagine how lonely rookie place kicker Dave Trout must have felt as Seattle ran out the clock for a 24-21 win. There was no sadness in St. Louis, however, where an end-zone fraternity of Eagles fans decided to drink a beer for every point the Eagles scored. And darned if they didn't do it. Coming off a disappointing loss to Dallas, the Eagles, too, may have been ripe for an upset. But quarterback Ron Jaworski looked over his options carefully and found nothing but open receivers. The Eagles are not a big play offensive team, but Cardinal pass coverage being what it was, Philadelphia just couldn't resist. Jaworski fired 4 touchdown passes on the day, 2 to number 17, Harold Carmichael, whose final scoring catch midway through period 3 ended the competitive phase of the contest. It all seemed so easy, and in the end, the Eagles couldn't help but smile. For at a beer a point, or even at a beer a touchdown, Eagles fans must have been mighty bummed.